Have you ever wondered why some seniors seem to have boundless energy, while others can barely get out of a chair without pain? Imagine being over 80 and still walking steadily, climbing stairs effortlessly, smiling without joint pain. This is not fiction, it is reality in many Japanese communities where elderly men and women maintain impressive vitality. The explanation is not found in miracle drugs or expensive gym equipment. The secret lies in something much simpler, more accessible, and more powerful: everyday movements. 7 gestures repeated daily, integrated into life so naturally that they seem almost invisible, but they are what keep the body young for longer. International research has shown that the Japanese are among the longest living people on the planet. Not only do they live longer, but they live better. The difference lies in the quality of each year added to their lives. While in other places old age is synonymous with limitations, in regions of Japan it represents continuity, participation, and even the joy of movement. These movements act as small keys that unlock internal mechanisms. They improve circulation, protect the heart, preserve bones, keep muscles active, and even stimulate the brain. The most surprising thing? They don't require hours of dedication. Just consistency. A few minutes a day can redefine how the body ages. Think about it, if we all incorporated these 7 simple movements, how much pain could be avoided? How many falls would be prevented? How many lives would be prolonged with autonomy and dignity? What may seem like a detail to us is routine for them. And that routine builds longevity. Now, imagine having access to these movements, understanding why they work, and how to apply them in your daily life. That is exactly the path we are going to take together. You will discover not only what they are, but how each one acts on your body almost silently, like a natural defense that science has now proven. Before revealing them, a special request: if this topic has already sparked in you that spark of hope for aging with more health and vitality, enjoy this video right now. This simple gesture helps us bring knowledge to more people who need this information, and it may be the first movement of your day toward a longer and fuller life. And then the inevitable question arises: what exactly do these Japanese people do differently, and why is the whole world beginning to turn its attention to them? Japan is not only a country of advanced technology and ancient traditions. It is also the nation with one of the highest life expectancies in the world. In cities like Okinawa, it is not uncommon to find men and women over 90 years old still active, smiling, and tending their own gardens. But what is behind this phenomenon? Science has been trying to answer this question for decades. Researchers analyze diet, environment, genetics, and lifestyle. And this is where an intriguing pattern emerges. The Japanese are not only concerned with what they eat, but also with how they keep their bodies moving. Unlike the idea of heavy exercise in gyms, they integrate physical activity into their routine as a natural part of their day. Studies show that Japanese seniors have much lower rates of cardiovascular disease and progressive muscle loss compared to Western countries. They don't reach old age to stop, but to continue. The secret lies in small habits: getting up from the floor, walking right after meals, stretching naturally, all repeated so often that it becomes invisible. These movements are not just physical. They are a reflection of a mindset that the body was made to move at any age. Science calls this incidental activity, seemingly mundane movements that, when added up, profoundly transform health. Now, think about the contrast. In many parts of the world, aging means more and more time sitting, immobility, dependence. The body gets used to the lack of movement and pays the price in pain, stiffness, and loss of autonomy. In Japan, the opposite happens. The body gets used to constant action, flexibility, and daily use of muscles and joints. This simple but powerful difference helps explain why they go so far with such vitality. But we still need to understand how each movement works in detail. And among all of them, there is one gesture that seems almost trivial, done right after waking up, that can literally keep your heart and arteries younger. As soon as they open their eyes, even before breakfast, many elderly Japanese perform a simple ritual: stretching their bodies. Arms extended upward, gentle movements to the sides, legs stretched out while still in bed or right after getting up. This gesture awakens not only the muscles, but also circulation, balance, and even mood. Science proves it. Morning stretches increase blood flow, help regulate blood pressure, and prepare the body for the day. By stimulating muscles and joints early in the morning, they avoid that feeling of stiffness that so many elderly people know well. It's as if each stretch is an invitation for the body to wake up completely, reducing the risk of falls and pain throughout the day. Imagine a 75-year-old woman in a Japanese village. Every morning, she opens the windows, takes a deep breath, and stretches for a few minutes. For her, this is not an exercise, but a habit as automatic as brushing her teeth. The result? She maintains good posture, is able to take care of her own home, and walk around the market without pain or limitations. This small movement, repeated daily, activates something even deeper: confidence in one's own body. Those who stretch when they wake up realize that they have control over their muscles and bones, and this simple gesture translates into independence and vitality. Of course, we are not talking about complex yoga positions or long sessions. Just move slowly, feel your body, stretch your arms and legs, and gently rotate your neck. 3 to 5 minutes already make a difference. The secret is consistency. And here is the detail that most attracts the attention of scientists. Studies show that older adults who cultivate this type of practice have a lower risk of cardiovascular disease. This is because stretching early in the morning activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxing and balancing bodily functions, including heart health. Such a discreet movement, but one capable of preparing the body as a true natural defense. And, surprisingly, the Japanese don't stop there. Right after awakening the body with flexibility, they perform another gesture that seems even more trivial, but which strengthens not only the muscles, but also the brain. A few minutes after their meals, many Japanese people go out for a walk. It is not a marathon, nor is it intense training. These are calm, measured steps, usually lasting 10 to 15 minutes. At first glance, it seems like just a cultural custom, but science reveals a profound impact. This habit reduces blood glucose spikes, improves digestion, and strengthens the heart. Research published in prestigious medical journals shows that walking after eating can reduce blood sugar spikes by up to 30%. This means a lower risk of diabetes, more energy throughout the day, and less abdominal fat accumulation. For those over 60, this simple practice can be the difference between a tired and inflamed body and one that remains agile and protected.
And there is another fascinating detail. The Japanese do not walk just any old way. They maintain an upright posture, breathe deeply, and allow themselves to observe their surroundings. This conscious walking transforms walking into both physical and mental exercise. The body moves, but the mind slows down. It is almost like meditation in motion. Imagine the impact. Instead of sitting down after lunch, leaving your body sleepy and heavy, you choose to walk for a few minutes. Your muscles begin to work like natural pumps that propel blood back to the heart, improving circulation. The digestive system enters a more efficient rhythm, avoiding that feeling of bloating. And at the same time, the brain receives more oxygen, clearing the mind. This simple habit helps explain why many elderly Japanese people are able to maintain healthy blood sugar levels even in old age. It's as if each meal is followed by a natural antidote to metabolic disorders. It is worth remembering that you don't have to walk long distances. The secret lies in regularity. A little after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. 3 short walks a day add up to a huge benefit for the body and mind. But it's not just the walk itself that makes a difference. The environment also matters. Quiet streets, parks, and even markets become settings for exercise disguised as routine. And it is in this detail that another secret lies. It is not just walking, but how they walk that maximizes the results. While in many parts of the world technology replaces physical effort, in Japan it is still common to see elderly people opting for stairs instead of elevators, or squatting to reach objects on the floor. What seems like mere practicality is, in fact, one of the greatest secrets of strength and longevity. Climbing and descending stairs is a complete workout. It works the heart, lungs, leg muscles, and even coordination. Studies show that people over 60 who maintain this habit significantly reduce the risk of bone fragility and preserve muscle mass for longer. With each step, the body receives a powerful stimulus against loss of strength and diseases such as osteoporosis. Squatting to pick something up off the floor, a common practice in everyday Japanese life, goes beyond simplicity. This movement involves the hips, knees, ankles, and lower back muscles. It keeps joints lubricated, activates deep muscle fibers, and strengthens the body's core. Science calls this functional activity because it trains exactly what we use to live independently. Now imagine the impact of this over decades. While many elderly people in other countries avoid bending their knees or fear losing their balance, Japanese people continue to practice these movements naturally without thinking that they are exercising. The result? A body that does not lose the ability to stand up on its own, pick something up from the floor, or climb stairs without support. A study of more than 1,200 elderly people showed that those who were able to climb stairs daily had up to a 33% lower chance of dying from cardiovascular disease. And most surprisingly, Even those who started late, at age 70, saw clear benefits after a few weeks. This shows that it is never too late to adopt this habit. Just swap the elevator for the stairs whenever possible, or do gentle squats at home, using a chair for support if necessary. Small gestures that strengthen muscles, bones, and confidence. However, the Japanese do not limit themselves to climbing or squatting. There is another movement seemingly harmless that challenges the body in a special way. It happens while sitting, requires coordination and balance, and protects your joints like few other exercises in the world can. In many Japanese homes, daily life takes place close to the floor. Meals at low tables, moments of rest on tatami mats, conversations in a kneeling or cross-legged position. This means that throughout the day, older people repeat a movement that, in other places, is gradually being abandoned, sitting down and getting up from the floor. It may seem like a simple gesture, but it involves a real bodily choreography. When you bend down, you activate muscles in your legs, hips, abdomen, and back. When you stand up, you challenge your strength, balance, and coordination. This coming and going keeps the body alert, the joints moving, and the muscles strong enough to support the body's weight in any situation. Science confirms this. Research published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology has shown that the ability to sit down and stand up from the floor without support is directly associated with a lower risk of mortality. In other words, those who can perform this movement are more likely to live longer and better. For Japanese seniors, this is not an isolated exercise, but part of their daily routine. Throughout the day, this movement is repeated several times, keeping the body agile. It is almost like invisible training that ensures autonomy into old age. Imagine the impact. While many elderly people in other countries struggle to get up from an armchair, an 80-year-old Japanese woman continues to sit on the tatami mat to drink tea and get up on her own without difficulty. This gesture translates into independence, something as valuable as any medicine. Of course, not everyone can do this right away, especially if they already have stiff joints. But the good news is that this movement can be adapted. Start by sitting down and standing up from higher surfaces, such as a sturdy chair, and gradually lower the height until you gain confidence. Every small improvement is a victory for your muscles and joints. This habit shows how Japanese culture integrates health into everyday life. It's not about setting aside an hour to exercise, but about turning every movement into an opportunity to strengthen the body. And when it comes to strength and agility, there is another even more surprising movement. Practice standing up without moving from the spot. It can protect the brain and drastically reduce the risk of falls. If there is a silent enemy after the age of 60, it is called falling. A simple stumble can mean fractures, long recoveries, and often loss of independence. That is why the Japanese habit of training balance daily is so impressive, something as simple as standing on one leg for a few seconds. This movement, known as the balance ritual, seems almost like a childhood game, but it is one of the most powerful practices for healthy aging. By lifting one leg and standing steady, you force the deep muscles of the abdomen, hips, and ankles to work together. And it's not just the muscles. The brain also kicks in, coordinating reflexes, posture, and focus. Medical research shows that adults who can remain balanced on one leg for at least 10 seconds are at lower risk of developing neurological and cardiovascular problems. It's as if this simple test were a thermometer of the body's overall health. In Japan, older adults practice this in everyday moments, while brushing their teeth, waiting for the kettle to boil, or even chatting with friends. It is not an exercise separate from their routine, but integrated into their daily lives. The result is visible: firm posture, confident steps, and fewer falls. Imagine an 82-year-old woman who, every morning while preparing tea, balances alternately on each leg. This almost imperceptible habit strengthens her confidence.
When walking down the street, she is not afraid of tripping. Her mind and body respond together, as if they were one. And you don't have to start with 10 seconds. 3 or 4 are enough to awaken dormant muscles. Gradually, the time can be increased, always respecting the body's limits. The secret is to practice daily, until balance becomes natural. This movement not only protects the body, it also stimulates concentration and memory, as the brain needs to adjust in real time. It is literally a physical and cognitive exercise at the same time. But Japanese wisdom does not stop there. There is yet another habit that connects body and mind in a unique way. It does not involve strength or endurance, but it can be the key to reducing stress, strengthening the lungs, and restoring vital energy to every cell: conscious breathing. Amid the silence of a Japanese morning, it is common to see elderly people with their eyes closed, sitting upright, breathing slowly and deeply. This is not a religious ritual, but a cultivated habit, conscious breathing. This seemingly simple movement can transform health from the inside out. Breathing in deeply, expanding the abdomen, and exhaling slowly activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which is responsible for relaxing and balancing the body. This reduces blood pressure, calms the heart, and strengthens the lungs. For those over 60, this gesture can be a shield against stress and a powerful weapon for maintaining stable energy throughout the day. Medical research shows that regular breathing exercises increase lung capacity, improve blood oxygenation, and even help control blood sugar. Each deep breath acts as an internal cleansing, removing trapped air from the lungs and better oxygenating the tissues. In Japan, this practice is integrated into daily life. Elderly people breathe consciously while walking, preparing tea, or even before going to sleep. It is not a complex yoga technique or advanced meditation, it is simply paying attention to the act of breathing, calmly and mindfully. Imagine a 78-year-old man who, after a leisurely walk, stops for a few moments in front of his garden. He closes his eyes, inhales deeply, feels the air filling his lungs, and then exhales slowly, as if each exhalation releases the weight of the day. This pause of a few seconds restores mental clarity and vitality. And the effect is not limited to the moment. Studies show that people who practice conscious breathing daily have fewer symptoms of anxiety, sleep better, and have more energy. It is as if each breath were a small natural remedy, free and always available. This habit proves that health is not achieved only through physical effort, but also through inner balance. The body and mind are in harmony with each inhale and exhale. And what is most impressive is that in Japan, even moments of rest are used to strengthen the body. Because while the world associates pause with immobility, they have discovered that there is a way to rest and exercise at the same time. While in many countries resting means remaining motionless in an armchair or in front of the television, in Japan, pause has another meaning. There, even rest is active. Instead of long periods of sitting, older adults take short breaks throughout the day to move around. They rotate their shoulders, stretch their legs, move their ankles, and take a few steps around the house. These are short but frequent movements. Science confirms the effectiveness of this custom. Studies show that sitting continuously for more than 30 minutes reduces blood circulation and increases the risk of metabolic problems. On the other hand, standing up for just 2 or 3 minutes, moving your body, and then resuming your activity is enough to reactivate blood flow and keep your metabolism working. It's like pressing the body's reset button. These active breaks also reduce joint and muscle pain, which is common after the age of 60. The simple act of stretching your arms above your head or moving your ankles in circles can prevent stiffness, improve posture, and even reduce the risk of thrombosis. Most importantly, these breaks maintain a feeling of vitality. Imagine a Japanese woman preparing lunch. While the pot boils, she takes the opportunity to slowly rotate her shoulders and stretch her arms. Later, while talking to her grandchildren, she gets up to walk around the room. For her, this is not exercise, it is just a natural part of life. But over the years, this habit accumulates enormous health benefits. This practice is so valuable that doctors in several countries already recommend, don't stay still for more than half an hour, even if it's just to get up and move around a little. The Japanese have proven, with their longevity, that this recommendation works. And here's an invitation for you. Have you ever thought about how many times a day you get up, stretch, or simply change position? Share in the comments if you already have the habit of taking short active breaks or if you would like to start including them in your day. Your experience can inspire others. The fascinating thing is that in Japan, even rest is treated as an opportunity to take care of your health. But there is still one final, profound, and symbolic gesture that unites body and mind. It is so powerful that it sums up the entire Japanese philosophy of movement and can transform not only your posture but also the way you see life. Among so many Japanese habits, one stands out not only for its physical function but also for its emotional significance, the bow. By bowing their bodies forward as a sign of respect or gratitude, they perform a gesture that simultaneously strengthens their posture and connects their mind and heart. From a physical standpoint, this movement stretches the spine, activates the abdominal muscles, and stimulates circulation in the upper body. The simple bow, repeated several times a day, acts as a gentle exercise that maintains flexibility and body awareness. It is almost like a stretch disguised as courtesy. But there is something beyond the body. This gesture carries a powerful message: humility, connection with others, and recognition. When performed daily, it creates a mental state of calm and gratitude. Studies show that cultivating positive feelings reduces levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, and improves the functioning of the immune system. In other words, giving thanks is not only good for the soul, but also for your health. Imagine an 85-year-old Japanese man who, upon meeting a neighbor, bows slightly. This seemingly simple act involves muscles, joints, balance, and at the same time conveys respect and humanity. A physical gesture that becomes exercise for the body and nourishment for the spirit. And that's the point. Japanese health is not just about the biomechanics of movement, but the meaning behind it. Every gesture is an opportunity to care for the body and nourish the mind. That's why living longer, for them, also means living better. When we think about this habit, it becomes clear that movements are not just isolated exercises. They express a philosophy of life, a way of viewing aging as continuity rather than limitation. And perhaps that is the biggest secret, understanding that it is not just the movement itself that matters, but what it represents in the life of those who practice it. When observing the Japanese routine, we realize that it is not just about exercise, but a lifestyle. The 7 movements we have seen so far are not programmed into a gym schedule. They do not depend on expensive equipment or extraordinary effort. They are part of everyday life, as natural as breathing or eating. This philosophy is simple. The human body was made to move, and when we respect this principle, it responds with vitality, flexibility, and balance. Every daily gesture becomes a brick in the construction of healthy longevity. Stretching when you wake up, walking after meals, climbing stairs, sitting on the floor, balancing on one foot, breathing consciously, taking active breaks, bowing in gratitude, together, these habits form a virtuous circle that protects the body and mind. Science has confirmed what Japanese tradition has always known. People who maintain regular movement throughout the day have a lower risk of cardiovascular disease, preserve muscle mass for longer, and have more autonomy to live alone. In addition, they age with less pain, fewer limitations, and more confidence in their own bodies. But there is another inspiring detail. For the Japanese, movement is not an obligation, it is an identity. They do not exercise because they need to, but because it is part of how they see life. Health is not sought in miracle cures, but cultivated in small choices repeated over the years. This way of living is an invitation to rethink our own routine. How often do we leave our bodies immobile for hours? How many opportunities to stretch, walk, or simply breathe better do we miss? And here's an important point: applying even 1 or 2 of these habits can transform the way you age. You don't have to change everything at once. Japanese philosophy teaches us that consistency is more valuable than intensity. The secret is not in doing a lot, but in never stopping. And that is precisely why this message needs to be spread. How many people could live with more energy and autonomy if they knew about these movements? If you believe that this wisdom can transform other lives, share this video. Passing on this knowledge is an act of care and perhaps the most important movement you will make today. And there is one last thought. Because more than movements, what is at stake here is a precious gift: the ability to live longer and better. We have reached the essential point. It is not just about stretching, walking, or balancing. It is about living each day with vitality, autonomy, and purpose. These 7 Japanese movements are more than exercises, they are tools to preserve what we value most as we age: the freedom to choose, to act, and to continue living fully. Think about the real impact of this. A flexible body when you wake up, steady steps after meals, strong legs for climbing stairs, healthy joints for sitting and standing up, balance that protects against falls, lungs full of energy, active breaks that renew your metabolism, and a mind nourished by gratitude. It's not just longevity, it's quality of life in its purest form. Modern medicine shows that healthy aging does not depend solely on genes or luck, but mainly on daily choices. Every movement is like a message sent to the body, saying, "I still need you, stay strong, stay alive." The body responds to this call with renewed energy, even after 60, 70, or 80 years of age. And here is the beauty of this wisdom: anyone can start. It doesn't matter if you've never exercised before or if you already feel some limitations. The secret is not to do everything at once, but to take the first step today. Because living longer is good, but living better is essential. If this content has inspired you, allow yourself to go further. Subscribe to the channel and continue to follow our reflections and tips on how to strengthen your body, protect your health, and increase your vitality. Here, you will find practical tools to transform each day into an opportunity to take care of yourself. After all, aging doesn't have to be synonymous with loss. It can be a gift of time, wisdom, and freedom. And these 7 movements are the key to opening this new stage of life with courage, joy, and health. Because, in the end, the Japanese secret is not about living longer, but about putting more life into each year.